Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, a different tank for the video today. Definitely not a new tank. Obviously this is my 55 gallon. It's been on the channel since the very beginning. Obviously I've been posting right here on this other wall to my left is my 120 gallon tank. Obviously I've been talking about that a lot for good reason, because I had to get you guys up to date on that. But as much as is going on in there, there's just as much to talk about for this tank as well. And so that's what this video is for. Basically, I'm going to do it in a similar type setup to my 120 gallon videos, where I'm going to do it in two parts, in two separate videos. The first part, like I did with the other videos, is I'm going to talk about, equipment, decorations, all that stuff. And then in the second video I will talk about all the more exciting stuff, like what kind of fish we got in here, and a couple surprises for you guys that aren't always out and about for you guys to see, especially not up close. But yeah, so this first video I mainly just want to talk about equipment. There's not a whole lot going for an aquascape. It's just your simple decorations, and it's been the majority of the same decorations that have been in this tank for a while. I do some shifting around, but other than that, I like to keep it simple for a couple reasons. First one is, I have my 120 over here, and really having these tanks so close together, I like to keep this one as simple as it was, when I first got it. Really, it hasn't changed. Like we're just talking decoration wise. Like it hasn't really changed a whole lot since we got it, and it's cool to see right next to my 120 where I started, where I was at then, and what I'm capable of now with the 120, and how much more advanced and how much more thought was put into the just the decor. That tank's doing a lot more than just fish. There's a lot more to think about when you're running that much, when you have that big of a tank. And so, yeah, no, I like to keep it simple for that reason, just as a quick reminder, see how far I've come. And also I like to keep it simple like this, so that if I have any beginner fish keepers, watching my videos and just clicking on my channel, they see my 120 and then they see my 55 and they're like, and it makes them think, wow, I don't need to do something as crazy and extra as the 120. I don't need all this driftwood, and I don't need to do live plants like you see some people doing. You can keep it simple and still find a way to make a very good looking tank. It's more friendly to those beginner aquarists to see these type of tanks and say, hey, I can do that. That's easy. These decorations, they're all a few bucks at the pet store. So yeah, I like to keep it simple for those two reasons. Just so other people know you don't have to go crazy when it comes to decorating your tank. If you're new to the hobby, obviously the most important thing is taking care of your fish first. And once you have that down pat, obviously you see my 120, you learn how to take care of the fish first, and then you can start to think about all the other stuff that goes into it, like aquascaping and like water flow and stuff like that I have put in thought into for the 120. So yeah, so nothing major going on for an aquascape. Equipment wise, we have two heaters. I used to just have one, this one over on that far side, but I found that I would be happier. I added the second one because it just keeps it heated more efficiently. It keeps the temperature more stable. Having that one heater all the way over there it doesn't really look good putting it in the middle of the tank to like heat it evenly, and so having that all the way over there, it's really, you're asking a lot of that one heater to be able to efficiently stabilize the temperature across this whole 4-foot tank. So I added a small heater to this side to kind of make up where the other one couldn't be perfect at. It is rated for this size of a tank, but just common sense thinking, it's all the way over there. Adding that second one would, put less of a strain on that. And with that, knock on wood, if I ever have to encounter ick, so this is something I want to talk about briefly. So this is another reason I added the second heater. Unfortunately, God forbid, if I ever encounter ick, obviously I have before, handful of times. Almost every fish that comes in probably has ick. It just depends on how healthy the fish is, if they actually get sick or not. That's a whole nother conversation right there. And I'll do a special video on talking about ick and stuff. But God forbid if I ever get it, one of the number one treatments for it is raising the temperature. The raising of the temperature from typical tropical tank is like 78 to 80. You raise it gradually up to like 86, and this actually speeds up the life cycle of the ick, and is very effective in removing it from your tank. Well, not removing it, but killing it before it kills your fish. And so with that, like I was saying earlier, with that one heater, trying to use just that to keep this entire tank almost 10 degrees higher than it normally is. It's already got enough strain on it already under normal conditions, and asking it to heat this tank that much more, I'm really, like, it can handle it, but then I run into risk of shortening the lifespan of that heater. It might be too much strain, and the heater might not last me as long. So I'm just trying to get more for out of my equipment, more for my money, by running the second one, so that it's not all on one heater, and that it can efficiently stabilize the temperature, especially if I ever encounter it. Again, knock on wood. God forbid. But yeah, so that's another reason I got a second heater. Just to be more cautious, I guess, as a safety measure. But after that, heaters, we have a couple air bubblers. Pretty simple one over here in the driftwood, coming up from there. Second one's coming up from behind the clam. It's a little clam decoration. I don't know if you can tell from there. Basically, the air bubbler used to be connected to the clam, and it used to build up air, and then the clam would pop open, the bubbles come flying to the surface. And I found this was actually starting to stress out some fish. They were swimming near it, and all of a sudden it flies open, and it makes a pretty loud sound actually when it hits the surface and explodes. And I found it was stressing out the fish. It was just like not a very natural thing to be occurring. And so I decided to unplug it from the clam and just wire it out back, and still have it coming from behind the clam, so it still very much looks like it's part of the clam. But obviously just looking out for the fish first. It didn't make much sense to be keeping it its original design. It was just didn't make much sense from a fish perspective. It's more of a visual appeal for the fish keeper, if they care more about that than the fish. So yeah, that's why I stopped running it through the clam. But yeah, so there's the two air bubblers, and last we have a for filter. That's the last major piece of equipment on this tank. We have an AquaClear 110 power filter. Hang on back. This is a great filter. I know in my 120 gallon videos I talked about the Emperor 400s for a little bit. But I'm not the type of person who's like, oh, get this one instead of this one. This company's better than. I just gotta say that for different setups, other filters can be better for that particular setup than on another one. So, obvious like for obvious reasons, a 55 gallon tropical community tank is a very different setup than a 120 gallon semi-aggressive cichlid and large oddball tank. It's just they're two completely different setups. So just because I chose this filter for this tank and the Emperor 400s for the 120 doesn't mean they both wouldn't be good, switch places. It's just I preferred one over the other given the specific circumstances. So yeah, so I'm not one to say, oh, stick with this filter, it's great, it's amazing. Neither have given me any problems yet. I've had this AquaClear a while now, probably 2 years, even longer maybe. And the Emperor 400s I've had about 6 months now. Neither have given me any problems. I know it's still relatively new, the Emperor 400s, but I'm not talking mechanical problem. I'm talking just like functionality, convenience. Both filters are very, very good at what they do, and so I don't prefer one over the other as recommendations for you guys. It's just you gotta evaluate your own tank and look at the different features of the different filters. It's not just something where you can just put a blindfold on, grab one off the shelf and throw it on as long as it's the right size. It's like each filter really has a different effectiveness. They have their strong areas. But yeah, that's a little mini spiel on the two different filters that I have. I know a lot of people like to stick to the same filter in all their tanks, or same brand, I guess. But I'm not like that. This filter is great though. Never given me problems in a few years that I've had it. I think it's more than 2, like I said 2, but I think it might have been more at this point. Every once in a while you obviously got to clean it out. You clean it out, you take care of it, and it does its job, which is taking care of the fish. So cleans the water real nice. It's got a great flow rate, and I don't know if you can see this entire black box back here. I know there's a little glare, but that entire black box, that's the hang-on back filter, and you should see behind it's got like the actual canister part of it, like the where the media goes, is pretty damn hefty. It's a large hang-on back filter, and with that, you can have a lot of filter media. So I have my mechanical filtration, and then I have 3 layers of biological media in there. So it's just, unlimited storage for as much beneficial bacteria as a 55 gallon tank could need. Obviously, it probably doesn't even need all that surface area in there, but it's always obviously better to have more. And so yeah, no, great filter for that reason. That's one of the big features of this, is the sheer size of how much media you can put into this filter. So yeah, that's what I have running on here. That's about it for this tank, equipment wise. But I will make sure to get that second video up, talking about what fish I have in here, and the couple surprises I warned you guys about. So definitely stay tuned if you want to find out those. And thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe. Obviously, more more content on the way, excuse me. And hop in the comment section. I always say this in every video, that this is just the way I like to end every video. Hop in the comment section. Any and all feedback is appreciated. I cannot say that enough. Any comments, questions, suggestions, just throw them at me. I will take all of them. Ever improving. I try to be, especially when it's my fish's lives that we're talking about. So yeah, please like, subscribe, and off in the comments with anything you gotta say. And stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.